Hello everyone, it's episode 64 of the General Damage Podcast.
What's up, guys?
How's it going?
I'm Nick.
I'm Will.
And I'm Shane.
Yes you are. I'm fucking dog-ass tired.
I feel tired only because of how warm it's been today. It's just been fucking hot.
Yeah. And I smell like ice cream.
Why aren't we lucky?
To me, I don't know about anyone else, but to me, ice cream has a ton of flavor, but I can never smell it.
Interesting.
Which is why I find that scene in Goonies with Chunk, who's about to leave, and then he stops and goes, "I smell ice cream." Which, which is through a freezer door and next to a corpse, and he smells a ton of ice cream.
I think...
Go figure.
I think when it's a homemade ice cream, it probably has more of a smell. Like
maybe.
I think when I walk into I haven't been to a Baskin Robbins in years, or to like an actual Cold Stone Creamery that wasn't kind of in an open space. Yeah. But if I remember correctly, like Baskin Robbins had a distinct smell to me. But I think
it does have a distinct smell. Yeah. I cannot place the smell, but I do not think it's ice cream.
I mean,
it's sweet. It's sugar. It's probably what it is.
It's probably what it is.
I'm gonna go with Will. This one say because all of the ice cream. For people who don't know, I got a new job. I work at an ice cream parlor. And all of the ice cream that these guys have is actually the owner's like homemade recipes.
Right. It's an in-house place. It's cool.
Yeah. So they actually do have distinct smells, and actually that's how I learned to identify them.
Cool.
Because I get like empty cartons that I have to break down, and I'm like, fuck, I can't tell by looking.
Sure, because they all are basically a brown carton.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, like I'm talking about like the actual ice cream contents, right?
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes it's raspberry, sometimes it's some sort of sorbet, sometimes it's vanilla, sometimes it's cookie dough.
Fair.
And like I can't tell. So, but all I know is lately I've been smelling like it, and I don't know. Maybe I should room with Nick because then he won't be like you smell like sweet.
Is that what Ashley keeps saying? Get away from me! You smell too sweet.
Well, no, it was, hey, you might want to take a shower because you really smell like ice cream, and it's kind of making me sick.
Oh,
because it was just that strong to her.
Fair enough.
And I'm like, yeah, I can smell it on me.
When you're working like 5 hours, it just seeps into everything.
Well, yeah, and you're working and you're moving and you're sweating and things are building. So it naturally would stick to you.
Well, I'm also the cleaning guy.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So it gets right into my skin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the other thing. That just kind of reminds me of this joke a comedian he said. It was like, he's like, being a pizza delivery man is a lot like being in porn. You end the day covered in oil and you regret the decisions you made in high school.
That's pretty good.
That's a good one.
Yeah, but you're like going, ooh, yeah. That's a burn on someone.
Oh, it really is.
Nice. But there's a story. I'm tired because of my lovely job. Mm-hmm. Smile. I have to be up at 4:45 in the morning because I have to be in the site at 6.
Right.
So at 10 they break for lunch, and I go into. I love this barista. I go into the Starbucks, walk right up to the barista, and she says, "What can I get you, hon?" And I look at her and go, "Meth." And she, without missing a beat, goes, "I'm sorry, Jesse and Walter just got off today."
Oh, good on her.
And I'm like, you are awesome.
That is what we call quality service.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely. Holy shit.
And, then I got my poison, so. Which is what I call Starbucks, is my poison, so. Go figure.
I feel ya.
Yeah. Nice. That was like, okay, he brightened my day a little bit.
Yeah. Person deserves a raise.
Yeah. Person does deserve a raise. If I had some cash on me, I would have thrown it in the tip jar.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so that happened this week, along with E3 happened this week.
Ooh, yes.
I could not I could not enjoy as much as I wanted to because of this what I'm doing
right
with making money. And at the same time, I have the thought that E3 this year is also the pre-alpha game footage showcase.
It was. There was a lot of gameplay footage shown for many games.
Yeah. A lot of it was all pre-alpha footage, and half of me is just going like, have I lost like that training that I got in college? Because this shit looks finished.
Yeah, a lot of it looked very good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, when they get right, like, okay, we're going to talk about Anthem, but Anthem, they said, was pre-alpha. But there's this whole thing where you're talking to this dude, and it's like, Jesus Christ, this guy looks amazing.
Yeah.
How is this...
How
is this alpha?
It reminded me of... when I was watching the trailer with my brother Eli, I commented on how it totally reminded me of id Tech's engine they used for Rage. That kind of level of quality in the faces, and the just kind of dynamic look around it. It looked super good, and like, you know, that still could potentially be pre-rendered shit. So, you know, they could be using some high-end stuff, but it didn't stand a reason that it would be, because everything just kind of flowed so smoothly.
Yeah, and the other thing is, no one wants to be Killzone 2.
Right.
So, like, you know, that caused a slew of shit. So when they put that lovely little watermark in the corner of the screen, pre-alpha game footage, or that disclaimer before it saying, all this was captured in game footage.
Yeah.
If they, you know, I mean, there's not a law, but there is... You're breaking some rule with that. If it comes out that that's all bullshit.
Oh, man.
So...
I mean, credibility is what you lose most, and your fans will no longer be your fans after that.
And I want to say it also falls into a false advertising thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Which could slightly fall under fraud. I'm not 100% on that. I'm not a lawyer.
I mean...
Huh? Yeah,
I was going to say, like, it comes down to, with video games, they can be like, oh, well, we didn't mean to mislead you, right? Like, oh, this was just a cutscene we wanted to show off. We didn't want it to be mistaken for gameplay footage, like the whole Killzone debacle.
Yeah.
But there's something interesting going on that you brought up.
What?
And we can talk about it more when you talk about Spider-Man.
Okay.
There were some in-game transitions between cutscenes and the actual gameplay with some of these games, and Spider-Man did it really well, where I was like, I kind of can't believe that this engine's running that smoothly.
Right.
Like, the transitions were just, like, if anything, this was a very cinematic E3 where everyone's like, oh, look at this gameplay. Oh, now it's a cutscene, but you can't tell the difference because it's that good. And it's like...
Well, I mean, the tech is that good.
Oh, I know, but, like, it feels like... It's just weird to see that, because it's becoming so streamlined now that we're getting to that point.
Yeah, but, like, you know, gone are the days where you had the cinematic action scenes, because gamers complain, like, why the fuck can't I do that? Why can't I just do that? And so they're changing how they use cutscenes and everything else like that, but it's like, it's all about immersive and immersion and everything, so they don't want to take people out with a cutscene.
Right.
And if they can advertise real in-game footage, and, like, it looks this good, it looks this awesome, and teraflops and all that other bullshit, like, it says something more. It's along with E3 and all the trailers and gameplay footage, we saw that. We also saw a Black Panther trailer.
Yes. My god.
Which was amazing, and it's like, okay, I have a man crush on Chadwick Boseman. Well, how could you not?
Right.
But
that trailer was... When it aired, it blew me away on how good it was.
It's seriously... But here's the thing. That's why they do this. Because movies are a passive experience. You should just sit back and you can watch a trailer and go, holy shit, I can't wait till February. Yeah. This looks amazing. With games, it's like, holy shit, I want to play this because I want to do that and this. And like, because it's immersive, because you want to be in it. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I want to constantly say. In-game footage. which is why some of the other trailers, I know you will talk about it, like Beyond Good and Evil, which is like, it was really good looking, but I'm like...
Yeah, it was all, that's all pre-rendered.
It was all pre-rendered, didn't really see anything, it was funny, but like it didn't give me any information. And Beyond Good and Evil, to me, is also kind of like Half-Life 3, where it's just like, I'll see it when I see it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mentioned in my post about it, is that game that we like, one of those games that we just poked fun on, that, we'll never see it in our lifetime, and fucking hell, it totally shocked me when I saw that trailer.
You want to talk other shockers? I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Kingdom Hearts 3, yeah, getting that continuation.
An actual Kingdom Hearts 3, not Kingdom Hearts 2.859.
Right.
Kingdom Hearts 3.
With Kingdom Hearts 3, though, it's a very different thing, because we had gameplay footage before.
Right.
Yeah.
But like, now we have not just gameplay footage, but we also have some cinematic stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we're kind of like, actually, I know they only posted the Japanese trailer, but someone translated it.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
So now we're getting a little bit of story direction too. So I'm actually just happy, because now it's like, we're getting back on track after being off track for about 5 years.
For sure.
Yeah, well, a friend of mine on Facebook posted it, and he summed it up perfectly. He's like, this is an example how Square Enix is just so shit-ass poor when it comes to managing and announcing. Because this game was announced like 3 or 4 years ago, or 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes, it was announced long ago.
And now we're finally getting it. It was announced a generation ago.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable with that shit. So,
I mean, at least Nintendo didn't have the gall to announce, oh yeah, we're going to be working on Metroid Prime 4 until this E3. And God, apparently people blew up over just some text for it. Uh-huh. But like, understandably so, like that game, I'd throw that into the same vein as like, Beyond Good and Evil 2 and Half-Life 3, games that you joke and hope will come back and, aren't going to be disheartened if you don't see any announcement for it at the next E3.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that they want... Me personally, if I was in Japan or Nintendo and working on the newest Metroid game for the Switch, I would basically have a poster of Metroid Other M on the wall with darts and knives into it with a big sign saying, "You can do better."
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, definitely.
And like, if they don't own up to that travesty that I think what was it?
Team
Ninja?
Yeah.
Yeah. A sexist fucking company. If they can do better than them, I mean, which isn't hard, but still, I think that should be motivation. Do better than those jackasses.
Yeah.
Honestly. Well, so, like, this was a really weird E3 because we got sleeper hits, right? Like games that... Well, we got games that, like, we talked about where no one thought they were coming back. Beyond Good and Evil, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got sequels like the new Wolfenstein sequel, right?
Right.
And Crackdown 3,
where people were like, we know it's there. We did the data mining. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And so it's a weird combination because it's like everyone got Christmas presents this year. I don't feel like anyone got left out.
Yeah. Everybody got something they wanted.
I've been on Reddit a lot. I have not seen a single post saying Sony won E3, Xbox won E3. I haven't seen anything like that bullshit, which I'm thankful for.
Mm-hmm.
Though I'll probably see that kind of crap come Friday or Saturday. I mean, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I'll definitely see some bullshit like, who won E3? No one.
No.
Well, I mean, I will say this, because I've been watching E3. I got to watch some E3 press conferences.
Same.
Right.
And then I also watched some YouTubers talk about it because, I like to see opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, Boogie, whatever numbers follow.
2899.
Yeah, he did a Francis skit, which I thought was really funny, just because it was like...
I really hate Francis. I like Boogie, but I hate that character.
I didn't mind because of what he was saying, but it was pretty interesting because I think he reflected when everyone was talking about like the Nintendo stuff,
mm-hmm.
like the Metroid, announcements and some of the cool things that Nintendo's trying to do.
Right.
It was just kind of like, it's like, I thought his quote was like, I thought Nintendo was going to lose, but obviously they're not fucking trying to screw themselves over this year.
Right.
Because if you remember last year with the Star Fox debacle, that was just like, everyone's like, there's no way Nintendo could recover. And then, of course, not only are we getting Metroid games, we're getting side-scrollers that go back to Metroidvania.
Remind me again, the Star Fox thing?
They released a Star Fox for the 3DS, and it wasn't anything that they promised.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
It was just like, it was basically like, oh, a Star Fox game. Joke's on you, it's a 3DS game, and it's nothing like we said it would be.
Right.
Okay, I remember. I that's ringing a bell now.
Yeah.
Yeah. This E3, I don't know about weird. I didn't get any weird, but it was just trying to share on our Facebook page all the shit that was coming out was like
impossible.
It was impossible, and that was cool. I mean, I like that. I like E3s because I've been watching them for a long while now. Mm-hmm. When they were on Tech TV and G4 and all that shit.
Yeah.
I like E3s a couple of years after a new console. You know? Because then we start to get the stuff that we all want. We start to get, like, you know, those games that look good and feel good, and the developers have time to get used to the new software.
Right. Everything's kind of settled in, and we're getting the meaty shit now.
Yeah.
I feel like E3 is after a generation boost. What really happens is everyone says, okay, what could be successful this time around?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's always good because it's people. It's actually developers and companies really thinking about what people want.
Right.
For instance, and we're probably going to touch on this. Monster Hunter World was announced.
Oh my god!
And if you ask me or Will, what was the one thing we want Capcom to do?
I finally get a fucking Monster Hunter MMO. That was on my list.
Put it back on a console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy
and so
shit.
that happened, and it's like, you guys do listen.
That was probably the one thing I fangasmed over, like, the hardest, because I had heard nothing about it. Was not expecting it, and as soon as I saw, because I got to watch the that press conference live. As soon as I saw it, I had that in my Facebook feed kind of next to each other and was just yelling at my friends, oh my god, we all have a PS4 now, everything's great in the world, fuck any other Monster Hunter game, this is it, kids.
Yeah, and I saw that reaction and I was like, that's what E3 should be like.
Yeah.
People should be excited. So, what game do we want to talk about first? We all got lists.
I mean, we can start with Monster Hunter since you brought it up, like... Unless you feel like we covered the basis on that.
Well, I mean, yeah, not to speak out of turn or anything like that, but I think you did cover it. I mean, you guys are, like, genuine. I've never played Monster Hunter, like, because I've never had a Nintendo product that could play it.
Yeah.
So, like, you guys are excited for it, and it's like, well, I have to get a console to play with you fuckers.
I think...
Well, if I could say one thing...
It's going to be on all consoles, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but there's a difference between me just playing on my Xbox and then you guys with, like, 10 other people on PS4.
Yeah.
It's the reverse this generation. I'm on the Xbox, which is the lonely console with no one on it. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is on PS4.
Yeah. I want to say one thing, though, which is Capcom has always been good with the Monster Hunter games because they do one thing really well, which is every iteration they change something and they try to improve. And it's not a huge change that ruins the game. It's just a small thing.
Yeah.
This time it is a huge change, and I think it only makes the game better, which is open world. No more loading.
Right, which is really cool. And that's something that MMOs have kind of been shifting more towards for the Monster Hunter franchise. So it's exciting that, you know, there are 2 MMOs that exist for the Monster Hunter franchise, and the US has had access to none of it.
Yeah.
It's been Asia, I think sometimes Australia has had access to it, sometimes Europe has had access to it. We have had 0 access to it. And finally we are fucking getting it, and I am happy and ecstatic, and I cannot wait to fucking pick it up and jam with people. That game, I probably of the games on my list was the most excited about because it shocked me.
No, I get that. A game shocked me that's on my list. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the fact that, like, I've only seen you guys play Monster Hunter on a handheld.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about, like, no loading and everything like that. Well, like, you're getting the power of a beefy console or a computer, whichever.
Yeah.
Of course, they're going to get rid of a few things, and it's going to be open world, and it's going to look and feel good.
Yeah.
And like that trailer, that gameplay footage was awesome.
Oh my god! It felt so good.
I mean, I've been waiting for it to come back to PlayStation for a while, because that's where I played Monster Hunter. Was the first one on PS2. Yeah. And every other game's been reminiscent of that, and every other game's been great. Like, for instance, I just picked up Generations. Really happy I did, because I have some practice time before World.
Yeah.
But to see this change, I'm hoping that on top of that, also they're doing it sounds like Dark Souls style drop in and out multiplayer.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. But nothing's been confirmed for it yet.
Yeah,
does that is the case, that'd be awesome. Does that mean people are going to be dicks?
No,
like someone's going to drop in and hit you and then try and kill you. And
no, Monster Hunter is always a cooperative game. There's no PvP aspect to it.
You can't kill a player.
Okay.
With your own damage, but you can fuck them up by like moving them in a certain direction and stuff.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Someone will find a way to be that person. In any game, like that's what I heard about. What's it called? The Battlegrounds game.
Oh yeah. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. It's 100 people in, and there's 2 people that are complete douchebags that ruin it for everyone else. Yeah.
Out of 100. There's always 2, and it fucks up the barrel.
A lot of the Monster Hunter franchises, you won't necessarily have people that'll go out of their way to fuck over the players they're with. They'll just kind of bog down the team because they aren't very good at the game.
Fair enough.
So that'll be the causation of kind of like wipes or kind of frustration is just players not being good. And that's kind of always been Monster Hunter's kind of thing, much like the Dark Souls game is get good. But unlike Monster Hunter, Dark Souls brought in a PvP action, so then it was really just defined on how good you were versus how good you weren't.
Yeah. So,
that was Capcom.
Yeah. That was Capcom. I want to talk about the game that surprised me.
Sure.
Well, actually, 2 of them surprised me, but the other one that surprised me also annoyed me, and we'll get to that in a second. Well, it annoyed me in presentation, but I want to talk about Skull and Bones.
Yeah.
That was a game I didn't know I wanted.
I'm happy we're getting 2 pirate-themed games, and that's one of them, and it looked awesome.
And the other one's the Sea of Thieves, right?
Yeah, Sea of Thieves.
That one kind of ticks me off because it's like, you have to have 8 people. You have to know 8 friends.
Yeah.
No, I don't like that. This one I like because it's like, it's just you. Mm-hmm. You're controlling the whole ship. Kind of this weird, slow dog fighting race kind of thing. Mm-hmm. You're a pirate and you get to customize your ship and use different cannons. I think that's really awesome. But there's a couple things. It's Ubisoft.
Sure.
So I'm a wee bit hesitant.
Well, but I'll kind of dissuade you from being as hesitant. If they got a number of the people that worked on Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag, and there's another one that had ships in it. If they got a number of those people from those games to help work on how the ship maneuvers and feels and the combat, it'll feel all right.
That's not what I'm worried about.
What are we worried about then?
It's Ubisoft. I'm worried about another For Honor.
I mean, if they make it multiplayer only, then yes, that's a good reason to worry.
They're not making it multiplayer only because the cinematic trailer, which looked really cool, and it shows some awesome stuff. Mm-hmm. At the end, there was literally for this 4-minute trailer, there was an end scene, like an end credit cutscene, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're digging up stuff from the wreckage of a ship.
Sure.
And it's a different captain.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they see other ship stuff pop up out of nowhere, and you don't know what's going on. And then it pulls out,
and there's a crack.
So you see, and there's a giant squid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna have like mysticism? Is it gonna be like kind of a magical thing or Fantastic Beasts kind of thing? Like that'd be cool.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is I don't want it to be a For Honor because I don't want them to put all the resources in multiplayer like they did with For Honor, and I actually want a meaty story. I also don't want to be... I don't want to have it so... If I'm not connected to online, I can't even play the single player. Because that's what happens with For Honor. If I don't have my Ethernet cable plugged into my Xbox, I can't play the story.
I'm trying to think of other Ubisoft games where if I've run into that issue. And...
For Honor was the biggest...
right, it's the biggest flaw.
Culprit.
Yeah, culprit. There
culprit. They pulled that, whereas it was you had to be online even for a single player.
But
and the main focus was a multiplayer.
Right. That I think is the big thing. Is its main focus was the fact that it was a multiplayer game. Whereas if this is a single player game, their single players haven't necessarily had that many issues. So like I'm still like. If this was going to be Sea of Thieves like, then I totally agree with your kind of like fear of what Ubisoft will do with it. Yeah. But if it's going to be primarily a single player aspect, I'm a little less hesitant on it.
Well, yeah, but like I mean, I just don't want to have to plug in my Ethernet cable to play the single player game.
I mean, I guess that's kind of annoying, but
It's just a thing. I'm like, I don't really care about Ubisoft, you play bullshit, the club, whatever the hell they're calling it.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's there.
Right.
It's kind of whatever. Like, I'm gonna be a pirate. That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
There's gonna be different types of ships, and it looks interesting. So, and the multiplayer actually also looks interesting because it's not about killing; it's about looting.
Sure.
So, I think it's kind of neat.
I'm kind of less annoyed if I have to plug in for it, and it's only because like I'm primarily online a lot with my other units anyways.
Yeah, no, I mean I get that, but for me, I kept getting a lot of errors with For Honor.
Yeah,
that's where I'm going with, which is like, hey, you can't play the game because of this error. Error 49, error 18.
Right. So I'm with Nick on this one.
Okay.
If purely for the fact that Ubisoft never has dedicated servers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's something that's ridiculous on their part. I don't know what they're thinking.
And that's just irresponsible. Now, granted, it's one of those things where it's like, everyone thought For Honor was going to have a really cool campaign because the multiplayer looked amazing, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That is kind of like the story that is led to believe. And I mean, I liked the multiplayer for Honor, but I will be the first to tell you, there was just a handful of problems across all the platforms.
Sure.
And it was just bad. Here's the funny part, though. Each platform had a different problem, and Ubisoft just did not do the right things to handle it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried from a design aspect. I'm more worried from a management one, where it's like Ubisoft as a company needs to get their shit together.
Yeah.
If they're really going to be trying to make these games that they think, like, they have great premise for games, but they just fuck it up.
Sure.
And I mean, like, going all the way back to Assassin's Creed 3. Right?
We don't talk about that game. It's giant.
Hey, you shut your mouth. I'm going to finish this sentence, which is
go for it.
When you have to release a patch because people can't fucking complete the game.
Well, I mean, that game was just plagued with it being a garbage game.
Yeah,
like,
but that's irresponsible. That's irresponsibility on the company's part, and I don't want to see that anymore.
I will say it is a different branch of Ubisoft that's working on this game than For Honor. Ubisoft's Montreal branch worked on For Honor, while Skull and Bones is their Singapore section of the company. So you are getting a different group. I understand your fears, but it's also like
I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, if anything.
It is a different branch of their company. Well, you gotta see what they kind of do with it.
Yeah. I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm still very excited for this game because it looks awesome. I want this game. I can't play Dreadnought for whatever bullshit reasons because it's not even out yet, and I don't have the PC to play it, and I don't even have a PS4 to play it, so I'm kind of mad at that.
Sure.
But I can play this game, and for me, it's like I just want to be able to play it, and I don't want to have server issues and mismanagement on Ubisoft as a whole, which is what happened with For Honor. It's Ubisoft as a whole company. That's the main issue that I had with For Honor. That's what it makes me a little bit afraid for this game. I'm not at all worried about Far Cry 5.
Because it's a single-player experience.
Yeah, it's a single-player experience. Yeah, I can have my friends do co-op and all that other bullshit, but I'm probably not going to ever do that. Because I want to go and kill these rednecks myself. We just became topical. So, yeah, I mean, despite all that, Skull and Bones, I'm really excited for. I'm also, if I can just go into a little bit with the other game, if you mind, if I take over too.
Mm-hmm.
I am excited for Anthem because it's like, oh great, we're getting an Iron Man game, kind
of. Sure, okay.
Oh, I mean, that's what they kind of reminded me of, like an Iron Man mech game.
Okay.
That they're javelins. I think that's what they're called.
Yes. I was about
to
say something else, and I was about to be very wrong.
Yeah, it's made with Frostbite, which is really cool. So I'm excited about that and see what the environment can do with it.
I'm glad you are.
Okay.
I have my reserves on other branches of EA using Frostbite.
Yeah, well, this is BioWare, so who knows what we're gonna get.
Yeah, that's why I have issues with it. BioWare, the last time they used Frostbite, it looked like it had, there was issues with the game aging well. And that's fucking, what's it say, Andromeda. Yeah, they used Frostbite engine in that one, and it looked like Frostbite 1, and it looked like it was fucking out of date by, a good couple of years. So, we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But as excited I am for that game,
mm-hmm.
What annoyed me was its presentation, where they faked a co-op battle or people playing it.
Meh.
It was no, because they constantly do that. They did it for Destiny a couple years ago,
sure,
and that annoyed me. And they did it for this game, and they're doing it for other games. It's like
it feels contrived.
It's very contrived, and it's just like, okay, we don't need that. I don't really care that it's a multiplayer. You can just say it's multiplayer. I'll believe you.
But if they're wanting to show in-game system for it, you want to try and give it the sense and feel of what quote unquote the experience will be.
It doesn't. That's what I'm getting at.
I mean, it feels it has that kind of odd, uncanny valley, contrived feel to it. I'll agree with you there.
Well, no, it's not an uncanny valley thing. It's just people faking on a script.
Yeah, that's what I'm
how to play.
That's what I'm playing at when I say uncanny valley. It's just it feels wooden with how it's read.
It's a thing about E3 that I don't like and how they try and present things.
Sure.
It's like you already got me hooked, and now you're just like, hey, you want some more stuff? How about some frosting with that cake? That's that steak. No, I'm eating the steak. I didn't
care about it as much because I was watching the gameplay of it more than anything.
You're what?
I was watching the gameplay and just kind of the overall look of things.
I was watching the gameplay too, and I really liked it, but the fake acting kept getting in my way. It's like I couldn't not hear it. That was me.
I put a barrier on that because I'm so used to that garbage.
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever. They're gonna have to sell this game somehow, and this is the way these companies are finding to sell it. I think my problem with this, I am excited for Anthem as well. My problem with it is it's too Destiny-like in its design.
Well, that's exactly what it is. It's EA's answer to Destiny.
And I don't think it's going... I think it's going to have some issues when it's released.
Right, and this is also, we're getting into hey, that company over there did that. let's copy them.
Right. We're now back at that again.
Yeah, and this is just the first Destiny clone of many, in my opinion.
I would agree. I think the problem is we're getting a Destiny 2, so Anthem's going to feel like the odd man out a little bit because they have to know that their player base is going to be split between two games.
Maybe. I mean, you never know. So, like, some people could really want to be Iron Man. Like,
and time investment is kind of a key factor here. That's why other MMOs couldn't beat World of Warcraft.
True.
I think if Destiny's gonna, if Anthem's gonna succeed, it needs to have its own hook.
Sure.
It needs to have something really unique.
And I think the Javelins are that hook.
I think the Javelins can be that hook.
Uh-huh.
I think the Javelins I need to see some sort of info on the customizability.
Sure.
I need to see on what exactly the game allows me to do with the Javelins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing about Destiny, which everyone got all hyped about, was it's a third-person shooter. It's really dynamic. First person shooter, really dynamic, has this MMO feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those are all great qualities. But any game can be a first-person MMO shooter, in a sense. Like, I mean, technically, you could say Borderlands could have been that, right? Well, it's already an RPG mixed with a fucking shooter.
There have been other games that have done it. Hellgate London's an example of that.
Yeah. But so, I think Anthem has a really cool opportunity by pushing itself away from the overall design feel of Destiny by taking advantage of, like Nick said, I want to be Iron Man.
Yeah.
I would really love to be Iron Man.
Sure.
And if that game can grant that, I think it will find its player base. Granted, though, it needs to do something that Destiny doesn't do.
Right.
Which is, well, actually, one of the things I think Destiny doesn't do exceptionally well, it does it okay, is it doesn't create an online co-op that feels cohesive at times.
That's what they've addressed with Destiny 2.
Yeah.
That's true. So
it's gotta stand its ground. It's gotta prove that it can be a top dog as much as Destiny and pull like part of Destiny's crowd into it.
If one thing it should do is it should have that good story. Like, I want to know what's the deal with the wall? What are the people that hide behind it? What's outside it? You know, it has to really get into that lore, as well as you being Iron Man flying around, which just adds a sense of verticality and depth, literal depth, because you can go up to the highest mountain and down into the sea.
Sure.
You know, if it can do that, then I think it'll definitely pull people in.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, I think it looks amazing.
Looks sweet.
Yeah, like everything else is pre-alpha.
Mm-hmm. Don't
know why. It looked good. But yeah, I'm excited for it. So
I'm too.
Yeah.
I needed to do a little bit more. Needed to do a bit more, and I think it can.
I want to see a hands-on gameplay trailer.
Sure.
Specifically showing me the interface.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's key for a game like this, which is intuitive gameplay controls.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it becomes a fucking hot mess, and nobody wants that.
No one wants a hot mess.
I mean, exactly. It's kind of like if I'm gonna fly like Iron Man, I want it to be one button. I press the A button, I jump, I hold this trigger down, and guess what? I take off like a rocket. And there's nothing else I have to do.
Sure.
The flying aspect needs to be simple. Going into water needs to be simple. Going really high needs to be simple. Fighting needs to be solid. Like, there's a lot of things that need to be solid. But again, I think to really drive it home, they need that hook, that story. And the story is what will hook people.
Mm-hmm.
If it's got a really meaty story. And you can't fix that with patches because people are like, well, we went through that with Destiny. But there's Destiny 2 over there.
Yeah,
fuck it.
They've already, they worked out their kinks. They're already ready for there to be hopefully no kinks on their release. Yeah.
If Anthem has a meaty story, I think that'll help.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely help. It'll definitely, and I think another thing that'll definitely lend to this is one of the things about Destiny is you don't need other people to do the basic storyline. For the base storyline, you don't need it. It's when you want to do a strike, when you want to do a raid. It needs people. If Anthem decides to pull you need more people to have a better game experience, it's also going to take a ding in that.
Yeah, that's going to take... let me explore and figure this world out. But you see that monstrous behemoth over there? It doesn't matter that you're level 50. You can't take that on without a few other people.
Sure, yeah.
But it's not story related, so don't worry.
Yeah, you don't... Yeah. Give me reasons not to interact with certain things if they're problematic.
Exactly. But, I mean, we're really dogging this game.
I mean, we're not dogging its expectations, I think.
Its expectations.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like... I am kind of... I just get annoyed at some of the stuff that they do. That's like, you don't need to do that when I'm already hooked. Like, I'm watching you for a reason. That's just a presentation thing. It's some things I wish they stopped. Though they did stop the 40-year-old men in blazers and jeans fashion show. That's one thing they stopped.
Yes, they did. For the most part.
Yeah. If I were to present a game on E3, you know what I'd wear? A shirt that had the game on it.
A number of them. That was one thing I noticed this year.
Yeah.
Outside of like the full, some dudes in full business suits, a number of them had a T-shirt with the game logo.
Right.
Or something that's like that's attached to the game. Here I'll go into a game on my list.
Go ahead.
Beyond Good and Evil 2, the Space Monkey program. Holy cool! Holy shit! That was one we fucking joked. I think we even joked about it like the week before that we'll see something about Beyond.
It was last week.
Yeah, about Beyond Good and Evil 2, and fucking hilarious, like called it moment. Yeah, we got
we joked about Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah, I think at the very end.
Well, we didn't really joke. What I said was,
I can't
quote
recall.
myself. I said basically, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is one of those games where everyone really expects it, but it's never going to come. And the group that wants it keeps getting bigger, but most of them haven't even played the first one.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And now for all the people who did play it, like myself,
same.
It's like, oh, we're going to get it?
Yeah.
Wait, this isn't a joke, right?
Right,
Like, I triple fact-checked that game. Purely out of the fact that I thought it was a fucking joke somehow.
I love how emotional because like the video I put was from the press conference. I love how emotional they got like as people were cheering for it. Like you could tell that there has been excitement and weight, and people have been like dedicated to like holding on to the fact that they may get it. And it's going to be a prequel, which is interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's they said that in the press conference. It's going to be a prequel to the first game, which I think is fine. Like, it's something you don't need to tie things together. You don't need to like have fear on too much time has gone by and no one understands it. You can actually like get a newer crowd into it and be fine.
It's also it'd be hard to continue the note that the first game left on at this point in time because I don't feel like the way that game was going is kind of relevant.
I would agree.
I do think I mean there seems to be a big thing about anarchy this year.
Sure, yeah.
Defy like the government or like, breaking the rules seems to be like a big theme kind of.
Well, Days Gone by. God damn it.
Days Gone, yeah.
Days Gone did that where the guy said, fuck you, I don't care about the camp.
Yeah.
That's kind of anarchy. I mean, he has a biker. That's kind of the biker code, which is like their own rules.
Detroit Become Human is also about anarchy and rebelling.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. I think with this game, though, right? It's just a cinematic, like Nick said, so we're not really seeing much.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Just a quick thing. I never played Beyond Good and Evil. I think it's on my Steam. I got it for free. I can't remember. But the thing that surprised me about Beyond Good and Evil, and maybe it's just when I looked at the first game, and then there's this trailer, and then they started like dropping the F-bomb like left and right. I'm like, ooh, okay. Wasn't expecting that. This pig and this monkey arguing and like going, "Fuck you! Find that fucking monkey!" It's like, all right, sure, okay. Why? Wait, was it? Did it have that? The first game, was it like that?
I don't remember it being that aggressive with its F-bomb usage.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Shame.
It was. I mean,
I want to agree with you, Will. I think it was a little bit more passive.
Yeah.
But granted, this is also a very different game in a sense because, like you said, it's a prequel, right?
Yeah.
This is a group of people trying to go to a place they're not allowed to go. Obviously, the monkey gives no shits about what anyone thinks about him.
Mm.
I think the best part, though, about that whole cinematic was it created a really cool sense of feel for that planet they were on.
Sure.
yeah,
In a matter of seconds, like it was fucking Chinatown, right?
Yeah.
They're like in the slums, and they go up, and there's all these skyscrapers, and they're going through like traffic.
It looked like
Space
Indonesia.
traffic. Yeah. And also, I like it though because when he goes, "It's fucking Swiss chocolate, mate."
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I like the accent of the monkey.
Oh,
I mean,
it's South African, I think. It reminds me of a South African accent.
yeah.
So the thing is though, all those elements tell me that there's a cohesive thought behind this world.
Yeah.
Right.
And I am excited for that because the story is relevant, especially for a game like this. Hope to see some gameplay. Hopefully it's revved up from, the old Beyond Good and Evil 1.
Yeah.
It should be. I don't think Beyond
Yeah.
Evil... I mean, that's 2 or 3 generations ago.
Yeah.
Like, you can't... It's hard to go back a generation because of mechanics are now embedded into you.
You could tell that to The Last Guardian.
Yeah.
Sure, but I mean that game kind of suffered for it. As good as it
did.
as good as
No,
it
I
was, it definitely did suffer for how out of date it felt.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So actually, really quick, since we're talking about prequels, a game that was on my list was Strange.
Oh, Life is Strange?
Life is Strange. There we go. Sorry, I saw my mic start to cut out. I was worried. Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Yeah, which I was kind of... I was impressed that they decided to do another one, but it's cool that we get the prequel.
Well, so I watched that press coverage,
Uh-huh.
and I like what the developers said, which is, they were actually fans of the game, the first one. They didn't make the first one.
Oh, okay.
And so they're like, okay, we want to make the prequel. And the way they addressed it was, well, there's no supernatural elements because in the first game, Chloe didn't have supernatural elements, right?
Yes.
That was Max.
Mm-hmm.
So that already tells me that they understand that they don't need to do a supernatural gimmick to make a game good, because honestly, I watched Life is Strange. I watched someone else play.
Yeah, same.
And it was a really good story. And the choice system was really smart.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, granted, you could say, oh, Telltale's series, but, like...
Whatever.
What Life is Strange did was that every choice rippled into other choices, not just between episodes, but actually within the game itself.
Right.
And so, I think it's just cool that they're doing a prequel, because I like to know the story before the story, right? This is about Chloe, who is a main character of the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually want to know more about her, because, she had a really interesting ramp up in the first game where it's like, oh, Max has just jumped back into her life. Things are kind of going topsy-turvy now.
I mean, her story is very important in what happens, what occurs.
Yeah. And it's cool to see Rachel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The girl who kind of drives the first game.
Right.
Even though she's not even in it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just cool. Like, I think story-driven games like this... I don't like episodic games, I'll be real.
Sure.
It doesn't sit well with me. But as an episodic game, I think Life is Strange was a really good, like... I actually think originally when it released, it was like a sleeper hit. A lot of people didn't know about it.
Yeah, it's more of a cult classic than anything.
Yeah, but for it to get a sequel and a prequel at that is really cool, because it's instead of waiting on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just going for it now this is a perfect time. It's got a huge fan base. And if anything, this might give people some direction in, story-driven games where we can finally get more choice-based games that actually have good, meaningful choices.
Sure.
Because I feel like this game had those specifically.
I would agree.
Yeah. I mean, not much more to say on it.
Yeah. It definitely... It was one of those... I was not expecting a sequel. And to hear that it's being done by another company, because originally it's a Square Enix product, that someone else is grabbing the reins on it and putting out quality, which is cool.
You wonder how I knew it was a Square Enix product the first time?
I mean, I saw the logo, but how?
I didn't actually recognize. I didn't think about them making it, but they had the main character say, "I don't care what anyone says. Final Fantasy Spirits Within is a great movie."
Oh. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's kind of a niche subject to talk about.
Side comment. Fuck that movie.
Side
Next
comment.
game?
Fuck you. Yeah.
Which movie?
Spirits Within. It was a Final Fantasy movie. It's their first one they did.
That, yeah.
It's a Final Fantasy movie only in name.
Yeah, it really is, though, in that aspect.
It's a piece of shit.
I still enjoy it. It's garbage, but yeah.
You're allowed to enjoy garbage things. You like the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, buddy.
I'm Bob
really
Hoskins,
quick.
man.
Really quick. I know it's not on our list, but Super Mario Brothers is getting a XCOM game.
Yeah! Oh my god, I was gonna put that on my list, but I was like...
What?
Oh yeah, it's Mario plus rabbits.
That
Kingdom
game,
Battle. Yeah. It plays like XCOM.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So you are stoked about it. I knew you would.
I am, because it's cool. Are you kidding me? That's such a cool concept.
Well, I'm actually interested only because everyone gives Mario shit because it's the same 5 games.
Yeah, this is a
quote,
different
unquote. 5
one. Or this is a different one to start.
This is the 6th one.
Yeah, here we go. No, I saw gameplay of it today. It plays like XCOM, but you have to strategize a little bit more on how to get things done well. They ended up showing them go up against a rabbit that looked like Donkey Kong, had the full-on DK tie, and apparently if you deal damage to it, it eats bananas in front of it. But there's a little panel that's in front of the bananas. If you have a character step on that, it'll cause the bananas to drop, and then the rabbit won't be able to recover health, but it can get in melee range and pick up your character, and its animations were great. It picks it up, it shakes the rabbit, or it shakes the character around, kind of bops it on his head, rubs it on his butt, and throws him. And I was like, that's so awesome.
That actually sounds very appropriate for a Mario game.
It sounds appropriate for a Rabbids and Mario crossover. So I think it's clever. I think it is really clever.
I did not see any of that. I mean, I heard about the Rabbids game, but I didn't know it was an XCOM type thing.
Yeah, that's what kind of surprised me, that it's gonna play like XCOM.
Yeah, I saw the Mario Odyssey thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how I feel about it. I don't want to get into it because I just don't want to get into it.
Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, we got other shit to talk about.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just I was on Reddit and I'm like, you know that meme where it's like a bunch of dudes sitting on a couch and they're like, they're stone faced, like they're no emotion, and the next image is them screaming and losing their shit, and that you intersect that with stuff.
Yeah.
And they showed that. So the top image was, what's his name, talking about the new Xbox and all the processing power.
Yeah.
And it's the guys, and they have no emotion.
Uh-huh.
And then it's Mario Odyssey with the hat and the mustache and all the things that can wear the hat and have the mustache.
Right.
And then it's the guys all freaking out about that. I'm like, really? That's what people are happy about? I'm just sitting there just going
it's Nintendo fans.
Yeah, but to me it was just kind of whatever. I don't really give a shit. I mean, I would like to play it, but I'm not
I'm
not overjoyed.
Ooh, I'm not even in the camp that would like to play it. That Mario game, the Mario game can stay far away from me, and I'll be a happier camper for it.
Fair enough.
But
as a Nintendo fan, I'm just kind of like, the XCOM game's looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, comparatively, yeah.
Yeah.
But to like go on to kind of like go in a different direction with some games, I have two on my list that one of which I definitely know what's going to be the vibe on it. The other one I can only kind of guess on it just off of imagery and kind of the trailer that they put out. So let's go with the first one, Code Vein. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch that at all.
No,
I did.
All right, so it is if you took an anime and you mixed it with Dark Souls, and the main characters were vampires.
Another vampire game.
Yeah, so it's very much in an anime style. You have a little girl, quote unquote, carrying around a rifle, and the character you play who has a variety of weapons he can wield, and you traverse through what looks like a present day, or it looks like the aftermath of like nuclear war or something like that. You're running through ravaged cities, and like kind of the tombs of the old world, so to speak, and that's kind of it. Like there isn't a whole lot of like, story information on kind of what you're doing, or kind of what your goal is. They did show off a number of like larger enemy boss fights, and it kind of feels like your typical Souls game of get around the enemy, find a point where they won't hit you, wail into it, and back the fuck up by dodging like a motherfucker. And it looks interesting enough for me. I mean, I've kind of been more on a Souls kick as more and more companies want to do it, and as FromSoft has kind of stepped away from it. I'm more interested in picking up new Souls games and trying them out and seeing if they're good or not. I have kind of a standard, and it's like, do you meet the standard? Do you fall short? Do you exceed?
Right.
And I don't have any expectations on it yet. Game's not out. We'll kind of see how my feeling is when it finally comes out. But it was one that I saw and I was like, okay, all right, I'll check you out. You're a Dark Souls game. I'm all right with this.
I want you to play Lords of the Fallen and tell me what you think.
There's a part of me that does too, but I have a feeling if I play it, I'm gonna hate Deck 13.
Come over to the dark side, Will. Like, I uninstalled it on my Xbox, but it's still floating there in the cloud.
Yeah.
I'll install it and watch you play it for like an hour.
Sure.
And we'll see what you think.
That's fair.
Can we just take a moment though?
Sure.
To recognize that Souls is starting to become its own genre.
That is kind of the argument right now. Is Souls becoming its own genre? And
I think it'd be cool if it is.
Well, so it's, as we get more games that emulate that feeling, because originally the thought process on kind of Dark Souls games is they kind of were roguelikes, but not in the traditional means.
Oh god, a roguelike Souls game with the pre-generated.
Oh my god, it'd be crazy, it'd be great.
Oh.
Like, my mouth is salivating with someone I would love someone to do that. But they kind of spawned from the roguelike thought process, but took a different route. And as we do get more games that emulate what Dark Souls has kind of set up, I think we will start seeing it be referred. I mean, people already do refer to it as if it were a genre, and it does. We can go this. With the Surge, it feels like a Dark Souls game. It is a Souls-like. That's more of a mechanics thing than anything. But yeah, I'm all right if we start shifting to the mode where we start referring to them as Souls-like games. That becomes an official genre. I'm cool with that. because that's great.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
awesome for me because I really have liked that genre more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the other game that you?
Oh, so the other game is one that I probably won't play or won't get a chance to play. And it's because it's an Xbox exclusive. So good on them for making me want to play a game. Yeah, bastards, but awesome. That makes me happy. And it's a game called Ashen. The kind of trailer that they had for it looked more cinematic, but at times looked like it could be gameplay. And it may be a Souls-like as well, but it's too early to tell. From what I've gathered from the trailer, it's you play one of these two characters, and you're kind of exploring this ancient civilization, or like the old ways and stuff. It's more fantasy driven than the other game, and the art style is, I think, what has been drawing me in most of all, where the main characters have no major discerning features. They like one character has just a mustache, but their faces are blank. They have there are no eyes, there's no nose. They have hair, they have clothing they wear. Again, one of them has facial hair, but outside of that, there's no discernible difference between one character and the other. And I think it's very interesting. And the monster designs look pretty awesome. You have these like ghoul-like creatures that have their rib cage looks like it's splayed open, and they kind of walk like ghouls. You fight wraith-like creatures, and at the very end, they showed what looks to be probably a boss in the game, and it looked like this towering giant of an ancient warrior with a blindfold on, and he has like a staff that he wields like a club and a lantern, and these two characters that probably come up to his knee try and take him on, and in the trailer it looks like they fail. So it's a game that sheer by like kind of hope and want, and maybe it's too early to tell what type of game it is. It may just be a hack and slash, and even then I'm pretty okay with. It looks sweet. Like I'm liking Souls-like games, and if this is going to be another one, I'm hoping my younger sibling will download it, and then I can kick him off his Xbox and play it for like a couple hours.
You say you can't play it, but you have some access to an Xbox.
I have some access. It's not guaranteed, as if I had my own, it'd but it's definitely like it exists in another part of my house. It's all about if it's cool if I hop on it and play it.
Right.
And if Eric thinks it's also Souls-like, because he's been playing a lot of those as well, then there's a possibility of me like sitting down and playing it. But it looks cool. Yeah. That was kind of like it's a new IP in of itself.
Yeah, there's a lot of new IPs. That's one thing I don't think we've said yet. Yeah. There's a lot out there now, which is good.
As much as it was like, as much as there were like sequels, and like there were some games on like we didn't even mention that I was like, why is this getting a sequel? As much as there were those moments, there was also a lot of new shit, and that's so good.
Exactly. I mean, we're getting another Far Cry game. Yes,
sure.
There is a number 5 attached to it.
What?
But at the same time, like every Far Cry game is not like they're their own self-contained story.
Yeah, they're their own worlds, their own times.
Yeah, that's the beauty of them.
Yeah.
So, like, that's I don't care. Like everyone's like, oh well, people like get disconcerted when it's it has a certain number in front of it.
No.
Well, yeah, when it's Fast and Furious 25, I'm a little fatigued.
Sure. No, when it's our 4th or 5th Marvel movie, when it's like Avengers 7, it's like, okay,
yeah,
all right, I need a break. I need something different. I need a palate cleanser.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and how many times am I gonna hear Vin Diesel one last ride, dude? It was last ride like 10 years ago.
Seriously.
I think you should have stopped when Paul passed.
Yeah.
Stop. That's me.
Yeah, there were definitely some games like that I didn't even mention. I'll mention them now. The Crew is getting a second game, and this one just I don't know why. The Evil Within is getting a second game.
Yeah, I didn't watch anything for that because I'm like, oh, horror game, pass.
But like the first one wasn't good, the first one wasn't good for The Evil Within, and The Crew. I don't think I watched anybody touch that game.
I can't remember.
And I'm like, why are these two getting a second title? Why are these getting a 2 attached to them? I'm confused.
Yeah. God only knows.
Seriously.
If there's a sequel, and I'm actually legitimately kind of excited for it a little bit and see what happens, even though it is pretty much a rehash. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind playing Call of Duty World War II.
Okay.
It looks solid. It sounds good. It looks like it feels good. Mm-hmm. I'm unsure. I like the fact that they're gonna try. There's a mode that they call War something. I forget what. Mm-hmm. Where it's basically it's an asymmetric game mode where it's like one team defends, another team attacks.
Okay.
Instead of everyone lone wolfing.
Yeah.
And people have to have certain roles in it.
Okay.
So it's like they're forcing people to kind of squat up and, and it's going to be interesting watching a bunch of COD players try and do that.
Right. It's funny. Battlefield 2142 kind of was the first game I had played that implemented a game mode like that. Yeah. And it felt fun. You could tell that there was definitely an imbalance, but it wasn't impossible. Yeah.
I like multiplayer games where it's not an all team deathmatch. I like it where it's like defend and attack, or it's one of those things. Not like taking over A points, B points, and C points, sure. But it's like you guys have this zone, protect it for this amount of time. These guys are going to do everything they can to get into that zone.
Yeah.
And, I think that's interesting. It helps, especially if a person can call the shots and it's like, hey, whoever's got like a heavy machine gun, plant yourself here and just take out everyone that comes in. Yeah. The other thing I like, there's something about World War II in a sound aspect.
Oh, the firearms.
Yeah, it's the firearms, it's the Garand, it's clean. The thing I like about with World War II, what they're doing with COD is, they're taking a bunch of shit out of it.
I mean, that's smart.
They're just like all the crap that they just added over the last 5 iterations. They're like, that's kind of out.
Yeah.
Because you really have drones and stuff like that. Like you can do airstrikes, but it's gonna be like a paper map, and you go drop it here. And
I don't think anybody was wall running while they were in World War.
Yeah, exactly. There's that shit too. Or slamming the butt of their M1 Garand like into the earth to create a shockwave. Right. No one was doing that.
No, they're mostly bayoneting people or rifle butting them.
You can bayonet in this game, which I think is interesting.
I did watch some of the multiplayer gameplay because they had some coverage on it.
Yeah.
And it may just be like, the point at which the game's at right now. It didn't look as great as I hoped it would have.
No, I mean, we'll see what happens in November.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I'm not like dogging it. This could be the engine or the system that they had ready for demo play. It could be. Knowing them, they'll clean it up. But like some of the textures just kind of looked muddy to me. Some of the trying to geo didn't look as best. But
yeah, it's also an E3 demo, so they got to scrape together what they can.
Exactly, and that's why like it's still early on. I think it's coming out this year is what they're saying.
Yeah, it's coming out in November.
Yeah, I know. I know Far Cry is coming out next year in February, which is great.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
they actually they specified. I think it's February, towards the end of February. So look forward to that.
Yeah. So, just a quick thing of release dates. So, Assassin's Creed Origins, we can talk about that next week maybe. Mm-hmm. That's coming out on October 27th.
Yep.
So is Wolfenstein.
Yes.
Crackdown 3 is the November 7th. probably the same time as Call of Duty 2, World War 2, which I'm a little hesitant about Crackdown 3 doing good.
Yeah, there are a ton of games coming out this year that were announced at E3.
Yeah,
Holy
there's a ton of games just coming out now.
And early next year as well. There's a sizable amount there.
Hey, I want to talk about it. Did you want to talk about another game? Because I want to talk about one that's on my list.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Okay. I want to talk about Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't played what's it called? The New Order, I think that's
I've not
the first
either,
game.
but I want to. Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
new one of this series of games.
Well, there's the New Order, and then there's Bad Blood, which I think is DLC.
Yes.
The Old Blood.
The old one.
Yeah, the Old Blood. Yeah, yeah. That's what it was called. Anyway. Now, I've also been playing Doom.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm having fun with, though. It's like, what really sucks is when you're raised Catholic and you fear the devil, and like, even though you leave all that behind, that shit still stays with you. So I'm walking around hell as a Catholic boy going, God damn it, fuck. A bit anxiety-ridden.
I think the Presbyterian in me who played Diablo at his church was like, yeah, fuck Satan, fuck him, gonna kick some demon ass, gonna put my foot in their asshole.
Yeah, but
I can understand the anxiety.
It's also, don't play it 1 in the fucking morning.
Oh god, yeah. That game specifically, Jesus.
Yeah, because there's been a few times where an imp's right behind me is like, Jesus Christ.
Yo.
But, okay, so this is what I wanted to point out. From just the trailers of both Wolfenstein games, and this new one, the new Colossus, and playing Doom, it's like, wow, both grandfathers can kick some serious ass.
Dude, they do not hold back. Grandpa's coming in to put his foot in your ass and break it off.
Yeah, because Doom and Wolfenstein, they're the first ever first-person shooter franchises.
Yeah,
all right?
They're big.
And it's literally like you have your maternal grandfather and your paternal grandfather.
Yeah.
And they know their shit.
God.
And the one thing I have to say about New Colossus is this trailer was awesome. It was freaky, especially with that Nazi woman.
Who's back from the first game.
Yeah, she's the main bad guy.
I thought she died in the first one, to be honest.
Same.
So, there's that whole thing that's happening. And the guy, what's his name? Brakowski?
Oh, yeah, BJ Blazkowicz.
Jay Blazkowicz, Brakowski, I don't know. Jay Blazkowicz. The one thing about this game that I thought was the trailer for New Colossus that I thought was amazing was the acting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it looked amazing, just like beating the shit out of zombies and the blood and just all the action. Fantastic. And like the little weird parody of the TV and the Lassie parody. That was awesome.
So clever.
It was really cool. But like the game itself, the acting in it, I thought was amazing. Just inflections. When he's holding that guy over the elevator shaft, and he's just the way he says it, I ain't no goddamn Nazi. I just liked it. There's something about that I thought was really neat. I will have to actually say, side note to thing, there are 2 characters in 2 different games that have amazing throws. And I think are just badass characters.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the woman in Beyond Good and Evil that picks up the monkey.
Oh, yeah.
And who does some amazing tricks on that bike.
Yeah.
And the woman in that scene that I'm talking
with the
about.
grenade?
Who just, like, it's a dud, fucker. It just walks away.
I was like, you cheeky fuck. My God.
Yeah.
Honestly, the voice actor for BJ, what makes him great, though, is, like, I watched Ashley play through all the first Wolfenstein New Order. And he narrates a bunch of different moments.
Right.
He's the main character, and obviously he's going to talk, but there are moments where he's observing things and he's narrating it. And I just sit there and sometimes I'm like, holy fuck, is he like narrating my World War II flashback? Because it's very personal. It sounds like something your granddad would actually say.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, at the end of that game, he does like the narration to the ending scene. And by the way, this isn't spoilers for anyone, but basically his narration is he's just quoting the new Colossus.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is how people found out about this game.
Oh,
It's because they were like, "Oh, it's the new Colossus," and then people did data mining, and they found a date for new Colossus.
Oh, that's cool.
Right.
Yeah,
It comes out this year.
Yeah.
and it's really cool to hear him talking. Like at the end of the game, he's just he's observing something, and he just goes on and he says the poem, and you're like, "Oh, that's badass," right?
Yeah.
And then I think about it, I'm like, man, that's how that poem's supposed to be read all the time.
Sure. Definitely.
Yeah.
Like and so also my favorite thing that I saw in that trailer was the fact that you get on top of all those fucking devil dogs,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
and then it starts breathing fucking fire on everything.
Yeah.
That's gonna be
Because
dope.
those
Well,
they're called Panzerhound,
Yeah.
and she when Ashley first ran into one, she's like, "Hey, you need to see this, right?"
Right.
And I was like, "What's it? More Nazi robot dogs?" She goes, "No, it's worse than Nazi robot dog." Because there are actual Nazi robot dogs, and then there's that fucking thing.
Right.
Oh god.
And it hunts you down, and it follows you, and I'm like, that is
Oh
terrifying.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Wolfenstein's like, oh man, I should get the other two games. I think there might be a sale soon
I know.
for Xbox.
I was thinking about picking it up for my PS4. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be worth it.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to Wolfenstein because the trailer's amazing, and I think the acting in it would just look amazing too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
There was a funny comment I saw on YouTube with that trailer, which is this guy. He says, "Look, I don't know how this is political. I lean right, but I just think this would be amazing to get a bunch of black people and white people and rednecks and just anyone." And just go and kill Nazis. Who the fuck doesn't think that's not American?
Right? Dude, anybody who hasn't fucking watched Inglourious Bastards should, probably come up with the time, because fucking Brad Pitt's comment of, "I'm in the business of killing Nazis," is a fucking great line.
Yeah. Fury, another World War II movie with Brad Pitt, not that great.
Yeah.
We can talk about that another time, but yeah, there's also another quote of hey, if you can't be a proud American and a proud Nazi, we literally had a war over this.
Can I just point out something?
What?
Because this is something Ashley and I talked about. Far Cry 5, everyone got really upset and stuff.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, we're killing Christians and all that. And now there's a whole group of people well, this seems a little weird. And it's just like, dude, it's literally a game about killing Nazis.
Yeah.
Every game in the Wolfenstein name kills Nazis.
Yeah.
You're not winning this one. People can argue in Far Cry, and I think their argument's wrong, to be honest. Try crazy cult. I actually watched the Far Cry thing.
Uh-huh.
The Ubisoft guys were like, yeah, it's just a crazy cult run by a crazy family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, crazy families. That also seems to be a thing this year.
Yeah.
But the thing is oh, I'm so offended. Man, if you guys are worried about Wolfenstein, wait till you find out what Call of Duty World War II is about.
Yeah.
Right?
Huh, killing Nazis? Weird.
That's a good point.
I don't even want to play Call of Duty, but I will defend its one point of, it's in Germany. There's only one army.
It's historical, man.
It's in Germany in the 1940s. What the fuck are you think you're gonna do?
Seriously. Well, kill Italians or them Japanese blokes, not Nazis. Definitely not Nazis.
You want to go kill Japanese people? If you want to kill Japanese people in World War II, go play Ace Combat 7.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's that. Well, I said that. I had that argument with this weeb who just didn't get Japan and its history and didn't get why it didn't have an army. It's because it lost its privilege in World War II. And they're what, World War II? Yeah, we fought the Japanese in World War II. It's what?
They brought us into the war. We're not really getting into it.
I said to this asshole, who bombed us at Pearl Harbor? And he's like, Hitler?
Oh,
get the fuck away from me.
At
first off, I should have threatened to take his dick because that person should not be breeding.
Oh my god, what a piece of shit.
I hate weebs. I really do.
Fucking Hitler, you dumb fuck.
E3, but just fuck all that. I don't know if anyone has the last word. The E3, in retrospect, to go back to that whole conversation, I think was pretty good this year.
I enjoyed it. I didn't get to watch every press conference live. There's actually one of the few times, like, after watching the first one, I kind of wanted to see the others. Because I thought it was really good. I got to be excited the whole time.
Right.
And it's something that just hasn't really come up for me in a while with E3 and press conferences. There's just a smattering of things. I was always left kind of like happy or excited, or even if I was kind of like, meh, that's not my cup of tea. Later on, my cup of tea came and I was excited again and I was happy.
Yeah.
You know, it was great. It was a really good filling E3, and as we said, we still haven't covered everything else. There is shit ton of stuff. I have a huge list.
Yeah, same here. Well, I mean, you should definitely talk about a lot more like next week, like Spider-Man. I want to talk about that.
I want to talk about Metro, definitely.
Oh, yeah. But
for another day, basically.
Maybe another day next week, maybe when you and I and Will are melting.
Isn't there also one more day of E3?
Yeah, tomorrow.
I want to say tomorrow is the last day.
If not tomorrow, it was today.
Yeah. We're recording Thursday today, so. Xbox announced their new Xbox, or Microsoft announced the new Xbox.
Yeah, the Xbox
the Xbox
One X.
One X.
Which spells out Xbox. Mind blown.
Which spells out Xbox.
We get it. No one thinks it's cool, though.
And every cynical fucker is pointing that out like they're a genius and they're making fun of the console. It's like, okay, you're not accomplishing anything.
Hardware-wise, sounds dope. That said, Microsoft did a good job saying, you don't need to own this. Everything else is going to work on our other products. It's just, if you want something that performs a little bit better, cooler, nicer, we got something for you. Otherwise, we made a smaller version of our original console, the Xbox One S. So you're happy regardless, and its starting price is $499. So
okay.
Yeah, they in the press conference they actually mentioned how much it's going to cost to get an Xbox One X. And it's starting price $499. As we've seen with consoles, they'll go down in price after X amount of months to year.
Yeah, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It is not, and it is definitely a compact console. So it's definitely. I mean, they showed imagery of the controller sitting on the top of the Xbox. There wasn't a whole lot of room and it was the controller was in the middle of it. There wasn't a whole lot of room on either side. So it's a smaller console, which is, for those people that don't, who have a studio apartment, not a whole lot of room. This is kind of nice.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at my Xbox One right now. It's not that big to begin with.
I mean, consoles these days are definitely not massive. But to be fair, consoles... I think the largest console that I can remember was probably the PS3.
Yeah, well, the original Xbox was also pretty fat.
That was also pretty fat. So, it's definitely. I think that was because there's. I think Microsoft is coming with kind of came in with a lot of baggage of like, we kind of fucked up, and they've admitted that they fucked up, and they didn't want to do that again. And there was a lot of room where they could have, and they didn't. They came out knowing what they needed to do to get to kind of make the audience happy and excited and have a good time. And I think they accomplished that.
I think they did too. I mean, like they just really need to get those exclusives back.
And I think they're starting to do it. They definitely are. Like there were a number of exclusives during that press conference, and I was really happy to see that. I was sad because I have a PS4, but I was also happy because it's like there's now a pull to want to get an Xbox, because beforehand it was kind of like there wasn't enough going for it. And I think now, as you said, Nick, we've had that time for things to people get comfortable with, for things to kind of settle. We're now starting to see our Xbox get exclusives, get people to come over to their console. That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So there's a lot coming, and we're probably going to be talking about this next week, because I also would like to talk about Shadow War.
Yeah.
But as well as Spider-Man and a few other games. So
there's definitely a lot to talk about. I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So we're running pretty long, so I guess we should wrap it up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. If you're on Facebook, please like us. If you're on Twitter, please follow us. If you're on the Facebook page, comment maybe. YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe.
Yes. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Definitely.
I know
and
1,000.
iTunes, subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know 1,000 people are talking about E3, but can we be one of the 1,000?
Yeah. Please listen to us. We have our opinions too.
Yeah. Like everyone.
Yes.
So, with that, we are out.
Yep.
Later days.
Deuces, y'all.